Now, your forecast first, sponsored by Matax Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Look at the rain coming down. That's our roofing like INET carriage crossing camera downtown Decatur. Puddles on the streets, though. You can see the rain coming down there in the street lights. And it's going to continue. Look at the radar view. I mean, there's a wall of rain out there, raining from Tuscola down to Charleston, Mattoon, Shelbyville, Taylorville. Zoom in a little closer. There's Decatur seeing the rain along I-72 into Champaign, up to Ludlow, Saybrook, Hoopston, Danville. Pretty much no one going unscathed here with the rain as we go throughout tonight. Kind of a chilling rain with temperatures that are in the 40s. And more of it for tomorrow. We could actually see some thunderstorms. Don't forget, you got the wipers on, lights on tomorrow. We're expecting that on that morning commute. We'll have more about the potential for those storms and severe weather when we come back. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
The long-term impact of COVID-19 is unknown. That includes how it affects kids. Well, that's especially worrisome for parents in central Illinois. Plus, it's a change in what the state could expect for the COVID-19 vaccine. How many doses might be coming?
And it's called the 50-yard challenge, how one man rewarded 4 kids in central Illinois.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
Play that game of Russian roulette again. I wouldn't want anyone to play that game of Russian roulette.
That's how a Rantoul mom is describing her family's experience with COVID-19 after each of them tested positive. Good evening, I'm Jessica Coons.
I'm Paul Cicchini. Brandy Voss's 4-year-old son is now one of more than 1 million kids in the U.S. who have been diagnosed with the virus since this pandemic began.
Doctors in central Illinois say they're seeing a surge in kids' cases now and are worried about the long-term effects.
WCIA 3's Jen Lask joins us in studio. So, Jen, tell us what's made the road to recovery so difficult for the Voss family.
Well, Paul, Voss and her son and husband all came down with COVID-19 after she became ill. While her son barely showed symptoms, her husband's pre-existing conditions could lead to some long-term effects. What's made their journey all the more difficult is that Connor has autism and is nonverbal and struggled to understand what was happening.
You have this very contagious disease, it's hard not to pass it.
But Brandy Voss tried everything she could to protect her husband and their son Connor, even sleeping in her mask.
And my 4-year-old didn't understand that. And he would come up to me and I'd tell him, you know, you can't get on mommy, you can't touch mommy. He would get in my lap and pull my mask down and I'm like, okay, I gotta go wash his hands, I gotta do this, but it didn't matter. Both of them ended up getting it.
With that test result, Connor joined the 95,000 Illinoisans ages 20 and under diagnosed with the virus. That's 14% of the state's total positive cases. Dr. David Chan, a pediatric cardiologist, is worried about the recent rise in kids' COVID cases.
This is no longer a disease that affects primarily the elderly. It really affects the young.
He says the unknown is frightening.
One thing we know that we're very fearful is that we don't know the long-term effects of being infected with COVID.
What scared Voss the most after her son got COVID was what couldn't be said.
And that terrified me. So if he had any kind of breathing problems, if he had a really bad headache or any pain, he could not tell that to me.
Connor needs a routine. He struggled with the emotional side effects of the virus, and so did his exhausted parents.
He just knew that we were keeping him inside, and it was not fair, and that he couldn't go to school, and he couldn't see grandma. And he's like, we can't go to stores. I can't go outside and play. I don't understand. I'm mad. And he's like, and mommy and daddy aren't playing with me like they normally do.
Voss wants other parents to know they're not alone and to stay strong.
As hard as that is, because we're our kids' mental health role model. They see how we handle life, and they want to be able to handle life the way we do.
While less than 2% of all U.S. COVID-19 hospitalizations are kids, doctors say they are worried about how the virus is affecting them emotionally. The CDC says mental health emergencies are now on the rise for kids with and without the virus. Meanwhile, state health officials are monitoring COVID-19 in schools as teachers' unions push for remote learning. Today, we asked Governor J.B. Pritzker if he thinks county health departments should have authority to make that call over school districts themselves. For example, CUPHD Director Julie Pride recommended all districts in the county switch to remote back on November 12th. But several districts, including Mahomet Seymour, have continued with hybrid learning.
In terms of enforcement, what we've asked is that local school boards work with the local teachers, the parents, and of course the students to determine what's safest in that community, and then make sure that that gets implemented, again, with the help of local public health officials.
I checked back in with Hall today about future learning plans. For now, Hall says next week will still be hybrid, but the possibility of having to switch to remote after Thanksgiving is still out there. And to see the district's daily COVID numbers from positive cases to exposures, Paul, we've got that all on our website, WCIA.com. They've been keeping track of it for parents daily.
Yeah, I know you've been following up on that. I want to go back to the Brandy Voss story. Hearing her recount what her family went through is obviously just heartbreaking. Thanks for obviously sharing that story with us. Hopefully, family has to go through that. We know that other families will. We just want everybody to obviously distance, wash their hands, and of course wear a mask.
And one of the things she said is she wanted to make sure that other parents knew, again, that they weren't alone, and she didn't want it to be this taboo subject that people couldn't talk about. That's why she was so willing to talk with us about it.
Yeah, obviously a somewhat unique situation in her household. All right, Jen, thanks. Well, here's an update on vaccine deliveries. The state's top doctor says the number of vaccine doses expected during the first wave of delivery has gone down. IDPH was expecting 400,000 doses. It's now looking at 80,000, although Dr. Ezike acknowledged the number keeps changing. IDPH is also getting more freezers for Pfizer's vaccine, which requires extremely cold storage.
The state inspector general is launching an investigation into the LaSalle Veterans Home in north central Illinois. A COVID outbreak there has led to 187 cases. 24 people have died. The Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs held a hearing today to dig into how this outbreak happened. One senator is wondering why more wasn't done sooner.
I feel like our state has potentially failed them. I wish that we had had been a little bit more proactive on the front side. I think there's going to be some other questions about what might have been able to be done.
Long-term care facilities in Illinois have seen more than 43,000 cases. More than 5,700 people have died. Across the state, nearly 9,500 new COVID cases were announced. The positivity rate is down to 12.4%. The number of hospitalizations and those in the ICU are down as well. They're at more than 6,100 and roughly 1,200 respectively. But ventilator use is up by 33 people to a total of 668. 125 more people have died, including 13 in central Illinois. That death toll is now more than 11,600.
Well, winter's not here yet, but it's not too far off. IDOT's plow drivers have been gearing up for snow, and just like everything else, plowing could be affected by COVID-19. They're preparing for the possibility of being short-staffed. They're anticipating drivers to be in quarantine or isolation.
Instead of having 24 people out, we may have 20 out. And what that means for the traveling public basically is our trucks will have to have longer cycle times, right? Instead of going 40 miles on a route, they're going to go 60.
The city of Champaign's looking at the same issue. City code gives them a limited amount of time to finish plowing, but with some out to quarantine or isolate, that time could be extended. As a result, the city waived those limits within the constraints of the law. State police searched a neighborhood in Monticello tonight after a suspect from a traffic stop ran. Troopers say it started on I-72, and the man ran south to the Apple Tree subdivision. People were told to lock their doors. As of now, they say that suspect got away. A man charged in a deadly hit and run was in court today. Robert O'Malley was arrested after surrendering about a month ago. He's charged with leaving the scene of an accident that resulted in someone's death. He's accused of hitting Dr. Bill Shue, who was riding his bike near Muhammad. Shue died in the hospital. O'Malley waived his right to a preliminary hearing today. His next court date is in January.
A murder suspect is still on the loose after he was accidentally released from custody. Darian White was arrested in connection to the shooting death of 16-year-old David Sankey in Champaign. Champaign County Sheriff's Office says White was let go last week because of a paperwork error. Since then, Sankey's mother has pleaded for White to turn himself in. A warrant has also been issued for his arrest. White's lawyer says his client thought the case against him was dismissed. That lawyer also insists that White will turn himself in. New for you at 10, police are investigating a vehicle fire indicator as an arson. They say two people on bicycles threw something inside the passenger side window of an SUV. This happened on North Stone. That vehicle then burst into flames. The owner says they had received previous threats. Police at this point don't have any suspects.
Investigators are still trying to figure out what started a fire that destroyed a garage and shed yesterday. It happened near Dunlap Woods North and Wilsey Lane in Sydney. Failing's okay, but everything in that garage and a pickup truck parked in the driveway were destroyed. They'd just moved in and stored many of their belongings in that garage.
A lot of their belongings are either smoke damaged or destroyed, and so this time of year, it's never a good time. This time's even worse.
A fundraiser was started online to help that family.
A group is trying to make sure families don't go hungry this Thanksgiving, how they're helping them get food on the table.
Plus this.
This is one of those things that our committee came up with that we wanted to help.
Community Thanksgiving dinners aren't happening because of COVID. What one group came up with instead.
And it's called the 50-Yard Challenge, how kids are being rewarded for giving their neighbors a helping hand.